This is one of the biggest migrations on Earth right now. Millions on the move out of Venezuela. They're not fleeing war, but they are running for their lives. Most are coming here to Colombia, but some have no idea where they will eventually end up. And so as Venezuela teeters, this country, Colombia, strains under the pressure, and other countries, including Canada, are seized with how to help. Tonight, stories of people on the move and the devastation they're leaving behind.
We're also digging into Doug Ford's promise to use a controversial constitutional measure to cut the size of Toronto City Council. Why is he doing it? And where does it leave 1 million voters weeks before an election?
And the National in depth. They survived the Toronto van attack, but in an instant, their lives were changed forever.
I'll tell you what I did. I decided that it didn't really happen to me.
Powerful stories of resilience and recovery. This is The National.
Tonight, we are in Colombia, a country bearing the brunt of a desperate, growing exodus. Just next door, only a few kilometers away, Venezuela is in chaos, its economy in free fall. A few months ago, 2,000 people a day were crossing into Colombia. According to one aid group, it's now likely 5,000. This border city is called Cucuta, a major entry point into Colombia. Those who cross this bridge are part of the largest mass migration ever in Latin America. The UN estimates 2.3 million people have fled Venezuela in the last 4 years. It could soon rival Syria for driving out its own people. The big difference? There's no war in Venezuela, just poverty and misery born of corruption.
Something is very wrong when citizens of an oil-rich country have to leave in order to beg on Colombian streets to feed their children. That something is the corruption of the Maduro regime.
Today, the UN Security Council held a special session engineered by the U.S. to address the crisis and its implications for international peace and security. Not so long ago, Caracas was a bustling capital. Venezuela's booming oil industry made it Latin America's richest country. But the government bet everything on oil, the only real industry that mattered. 90% of what Venezuelans consumed was imported and paid for with oil money. So when oil prices collapsed, money for imports dried up, even as dirty officials skimmed what was left for themselves. Boiling rage has now turned to resignation that everyday life is just unlivable. With no money for medicine, some are dying of treatable illnesses. This year, the inflation rate is projected to hit an impossible 1 million%. The old currency so bereft of value, some Venezuelans turn it into souvenirs to sell here in Colombia. So how bad is it, really, that people are making the choice in such huge numbers to flee? That's what we came here to find out. The break of dawn is departure time on the bridge linking a collapsing Venezuela with a Colombia straining under the burden of the new and the needy. Venezuelans getting out for good or maybe just for a while. Dire deeds that have become routine. They've done without vaccines, essential medication, and food. Diseases once thought eradicated are back. People keep coming, and Colombia keeps adjusting. But you see some people here with expired passports, and that's because there isn't the paper, there isn't the ink, there isn't the money to get new passports. And Colombia and Ecuador and Peru have all had to accept that if they see Venezuelans with expired passports, they just have to let them in because these people have no choice. How bad must home be to have no choice? This bad. With the help of a colleague in Venezuela, CBC got access to images of life there just this weekend. All those cars are waiting for gas. It took 3 minutes to ride alongside the lineup and find its end.
¿Cómo se siente usted de estar acá desde las 4 de la mañana?
Bastante indignado, porque esto ya se volvió, fue costumbre. Esto ya nos acostumbraron. El Estado venezolano, el gobierno ya nos acostumbró fue a esto.
Some wait, find nothing, or what they find they can't afford.
¿Acepta pesos?
That flat of 30 eggs, rare to see, harder to buy. With daily limits on ATM withdrawals, it would take 6 days to get the cash to pay for the eggs if you had the money.
Esta es la emergencia pediátrica del Hospital Central de San Cristóbal. En la entrada del mismo dice cerrado por falta de personal. Tienen estrictas emergencias.
Hospital wards that aren't closed are dangerously ill-equipped and filthy. No water in the sinks, but it's dripping from the ceilings in the dialysis area. There aren't drugs or supplies. What happens if you're sick? What happens if you're Isabel Carrascal? We met her in the Colombian border city of Cúcuta, out of Venezuela for 5 months. Not in great shape. Neither is her little one, Roxybel. Remember what I told you, her mom says? When one door closes, another one opens. Isabel left because she couldn't get care for her ovarian cancer. The Colombians helped out. She's just had more surgery on her kidneys, needs chemo and radiation. But she came to this church shelter looking for guidance about her health care and didn't find any answers. I feel very vulnerable. She says, I'd like to give my children many things, but I can't. I can't work in my condition. Quiet Roxybel. She's intelligent, her mom says, but not in school because that means money for uniforms and books. Aid agencies do their best to help, but Colombia doesn't have a shelter system in place, so many are on their own now. How does Isabel fare at night? Well, this is it. 2 rooms shared with 6 people.
Yo no me hubiese venido en ningún momento.
Unlike others, I would have stayed in Venezuela. I didn't want to leave, she said. But to just live meant she had to leave. No water, nowhere to really sleep, certainly no place to recover from cancer. But this is life on the run from a state once dripping in oil and wealth. Venezuela has tried to reassure its people all will be just fine, and it has a plan. Starting September 1st, the government increased the minimum wage to 34 times its previous value. There are deep suspicions about whether that will work, but here's the most audacious move of all. The government issued a new banknote by taking the old one and just lopping off 5 zeros. But what gives it any value? Maduro has pinned his hopes on a digital buzzword. There was orchestrated fanfare in February when President Maduro blessed hard drives and announced his plan to save the economy.
Y hoy están haciendo el niño feliz, el petro.
The petro, a government-sanctioned cryptocurrency. And if you don't know how those work, spare a thought for millions of Venezuelans who are in the same boat. Nevertheless, Maduro tied the country's wages and pensions to this digital currency. But the pitch was really aimed at international investors. Buy a petro and get digital dollars that are secure, verifiable, and free of central bank manipulation. The twist, as its name suggests, is that a petro is backed by something in the real world, oil. Specifically, the government says 5 billion barrels of oil reserves in northeast Venezuela. Sounds promising, but
the petro doesn't appear actually to exist.
Brian Ellsworth is a Reuters journalist. He visited the region and found no signs of any oil development, save for some decades-old equipment. What he did find? Hungry people force-fed this mythical money.
We ended up walking into this school. This teacher, she said, this situation is so severe that kids don't eat at home anymore, which means they stop coming to school. And by the way, I got this call from the education ministry that said, now we need to explain to our children what the virtues of the petro are. And she said to me, I don't know what a petro is.
Beyond widespread confusion, Ellsworth says the petro isn't being traded on any major exchanges. It's not being used in shops. Few people even own it. The suggestion, it's all a fundraising scheme.
They do appear to have raised maybe $150,000. I think that's actually a fraction of what your average crypto scam can raise. So, yeah, they made a few bucks off it. It's not a significant amount of money for a country of this size.
Maybe it's an attempt by a government banking on an old devotion of oil to try to fool Venezuelans with a flashy new trend. Doesn't seem like they're buying it. Today, Canadian officials attended meetings at the UN to talk about solutions to the Venezuelan crisis. And we asked how this country is helping with real currency. Global Affairs Canada said it is providing $900,000 in funding. Some of that will go towards monitoring and reporting on human rights and giving support to human rights defenders. The rest will help bring together Venezuelan experts to work on some sort of negotiated solution to the crisis.
And so, Adrian, you've given us a clear sense of the scale of this problem, and it's staggering. Tell us, what are you working on for tomorrow?
Well, we've been listening to people talk about hard numbers, 5,000 coming across every day as opposed to 2,000. And it's been occurring to us that, in a way, it doesn't make much sense because those are the people who cross officially on the border. They're being counted. But we've been watching people cross the river, come through the bush. No one's counting them. This is a huge problem for Colombian authorities because have they been vaccinated? How do they make sure they don't disappear into the underworld here? Who's looking after them? Where are they going to go? So we're going to look at that. We're also going to look at the smuggling operations that have sprung up. It's amazing. Venezuelans, we've watched them bringing things like car parts and meat here, meats that's not available there in Venezuela, but bringing it here to Colombia, selling it for hard currency to take back to Venezuela.
Well, Adrian, lots to watch for, that's for sure. Here's what else we're working on tonight on The National. More than a year after a 13-year-old girl was killed, apparently at random, just steps from her home, police in Burnaby, BC, have made an arrest.
Plus, living a changed life in the wake of a horrific attack. Joanna Rimiliotis brings us the stories of survivors dealing with trauma but determined to live 4 months after that deadly van attack in Toronto. But first, an unprecedented move by the Premier of Ontario. Just weeks before people here in Toronto are supposed to cast ballots, a surprising twist. The Ontario Superior Court ruled the province crossed the line when it cut Toronto City Council by almost half after the election campaign had already begun, calling that move unconstitutional. The Premier, though, is not backing down.
I believe the judge's decision is deeply concerning. I want to repeat that. I believe the judge's decision is deeply, deeply concerning, and the result is unacceptable to the people of Ontario.
So in another bold move of his own, Doug Ford says his government is invoking the rarely used notwithstanding clause, which would allow his government to override parts of the charter. So why use it now? The CBC's Ron Charles takes a look.
He's a bully.
The professor, known as the Dean of Canadian Political Science, says there's a reason governments have so rarely used the notwithstanding clause. Peter Russell says the Charter's creators put the clause in never anticipating a leader like Doug Ford.
It really was designed for an age when our leaders were liberal Democrats who respected the rule of law. Here we have a man who does not respect the rule of law.
But Ford accuses judges of not respecting the laws of the elected legislature.
He's the judge. I'm the Premier. He gets to use his tools. I'll use every single tool to stand up for the people of Ontario.
It's a position promoted by populist leaders around the world and embraced by their supporters.
And frankly, from a political perspective, I think Premier Ford is quite happy to have the fancy people and the unelected judges against him and the people with him.
Some of the people against his plan were left stunned by his latest move.
That he'd be willing to use this again if the courts got in his way. And that is frightening. The Constitution and particularly the Charter protect the rights of individuals.
One city councillor running for re-election appealed to the progressive conservative legislators.
Please, you need to be able to recognize that not only are you torching the brand of your party, but you are going to go down in the history books for doing all the wrong things, for infringing on people's constitutional rights.
Toronto's mayor asked why Ford is turning to such drastic measures.
This invocation of the notwithstanding clause is a mistake. It is an overreach. It is using a sledgehammer on a fly. And in terms of the size of the issue involved here.
The mayor says he will meet with the city's lawyers, but acknowledges once the sledgehammer has fallen, there's nothing the courts can do.
Thank you very much.
Ron Charles, CBC News, Toronto.
Let's take a closer look now at the notwithstanding clause, where it came from, and why governments were given this power. Here's the brief.
I'll use every single tool to stand up for the people of Ontario.
One of those tools, the notwithstanding clause, Section 33 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. It allows federal and provincial governments to pass laws overriding the Charter. So Even if those laws contravene basic individual rights, the court can't overturn them. So why is it there? Well, when the charter was being drafted, it was a last-minute compromise to get the Western premiers to sign on. They were worried judges would overrule the popular will.
If ever the judiciary goes berserk, there's always that clause, that's a plug, you pull the plug.
Provinces are allowed to use it with a vote in the legislature, but it is pretty rare. It's only been invoked about a dozen times in history, for example, to override a court ruling about French language rights in Quebec. And Saskatchewan used it to protect back-to-work legislation.
Is unlikely ever to be used except in non-controversial circumstances.
Jean Chrétien was the Justice Minister, playing a major role in negotiating the clause. He doubted governments would use it much because
it will be politically very difficult for a government without very good reason to introduce a measure.
It's always been viewed as a kind of last resort because research has shown the Canadians generally support the Charter. And overriding it to push through laws was considered to be politically risky. Well, to help put this into perspective, let's turn now to Chrisma Mathen, a constitutional law expert at the University of Ottawa. Your reaction, first of all, to what Premier Ford has promised to do?
Well, I wasn't as surprised by the idea that he would invoke the notwithstanding clause, although it is a really big move for the government of Ontario to do this. It's never done it before in the entire history of the Charter. I was, though, surprised by, frankly, what seemed to be a fairly cavalier attitude he has towards the Constitution and the way he kept emphasizing his legitimacy versus appointed judges as though there's some kind of contest, and in any kind of contest he should automatically win. I mean, that's just not consistent with the way that we understand the rule of law.
And not only is he vowing to invoke the notwithstanding clause in this case, but he says he'd be comfortable doing it again. Let's listen to another excerpt from what he said earlier today.
I also want to make it clear that we're prepared to use Section 33 again in the future. We're taking a stand. If you want to make new laws in Ontario or in Canada, you first must seek a mandate from the people.
You know, for a generation, I think we've been taught and told that premiers and prime ministers would be very reluctant to use the notwithstanding clause because it's just such a big step and there'd be a political cost to that. But when you hear the premier of the biggest province in the country speaking so comfortably about invoking this, does that worry you that it might have an influence on other leaders across the country?
The notwithstanding clause is, it's a tool, it exists in the Constitution, but it has been treated for 35 years as an extraordinary act, not a routine act, not a casual act. And the worry is that could lead people to view the notwithstanding clause as something that we should regularly be invoking. And we have to remember that this is about our Constitution. It's about the fundamental tenets of our society. And we need to be really careful to adopt a dismissive attitude, or the idea that the Constitution somehow doesn't really matter as long as you have an electoral mandate to do things.
We have just a few seconds, but let me just ask you this. I mean, one of the reasons that he says he's using it in this case is that this was a bad decision by the judge. His constitutional experts tell him that. What's your sense of this decision in the city council seats?
I think there are some weaker aspects to the decision. Normally, the way that you settle that is you go through an appeal process, and you, in fact, have a higher court weigh in. So while, again, he's within his authority to do this, the Constitution gives him that authority. I think the language and the ideas he's invoking are really the bigger story here.
Chrisma Mathen, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And we are live tonight, keeping tabs on a number of other developing stories, including the latest on Florence, a major hurricane heading straight for the U.S. coastline.
But we are not going to gamble with the lives of the people of South Carolina, not a one.
South Carolina's governor today announcing mandatory evacuations for the state's entire coastline. They're taking no chances as Florence, now a powerful Category 4 storm, churns closer. It's expected to hit the U.S. on Thursday. And we'll be watching for any signs of a NAFTA breakthrough tomorrow as Foreign Affairs Minister Chrystia Freeland returns to Washington. The hope to have a deal in hand by the end of the month so it can go to a vote in Congress before elections in November. And still ahead on The National, should a union be allowed to name and shame replacement workers? Why one of Canada's biggest unions is making no apologies for a controversial ad.
And we go in depth following up on the stories from that deadly attack in Toronto. Joanna Remiliotis meets with two women who are in the path of that van, finds out how they're coping.
My mom has always been a survivor. It's kind of, you know, just the way she does things. It's one of the biggest, cruelest things that you've ever had to overcome or survive, and yet here she is still here, still doing it. Like,
It was a heinous and apparently random crime that shook Burnaby, BC. 13-year-old Marissa Shen killed just steps from her home, her body found in a popular public park. Well, today, 14 months later, an arrest. Charged with first-degree murder, Ibrahim Ali. And as Renee Filipponi reports, he'd only just arrived in Canada when Shen was killed.
News of the arrest today, relief for the family of 13-year-old Marissa Shen and the community, all looking for answers. For now, police won't speak to motive or how they narrowed in on Ibrahim Ali.
We still believe that this crime was a random act, meaning that Marissa did not know the suspect and vice versa.
Ali is 28 years old. He came to Canada as a refugee from Syria in April of 2017 and is now a permanent resident living in Burnaby.
He was not known to us, the police environment. I can say that he does not have a criminal record.
Shen was last seen leaving her apartment on a July evening in 2017. She was spotted on surveillance video minutes later at a Tim Hortons nearby. Not long after, her body was found in the park right across from her home. In a statement, her family says they hope she can finally be at peace in heaven.
We hear about this news and we feel it's such a big relief.
But for members of the local Syrian community, there are concerns about how these charges could change public perception about refugees.
This incident is an isolated incident. It's unfortunate that there are sick and criminal people out there, and these people can come from any community, and obviously the Syrian community is not immune to it.
A sentiment police echoed today.
You know, I think by and large our refugees that come to the country are hardworking citizens that are very happy to be in Canada.
Even politicians are cautioning restraint. Conservative immigration critic Michelle Rempel tweeting, given that details are still emerging about the alleged murderer who was charged today, we are monitoring the situation closely. We will seek answers regarding the questions that are on the minds of Canadians today. A statement from Public Safety Canada says it cannot comment on this specific matter, but it says safety and security are always a top priority and that Canada has a robust, multi-layered approach to refugees. The arrest may lead the family closer to justice and alleviate fears in the community, but it still leaves many more questions unanswered. Renee Filipponi, CBC News, Vancouver.
Still ahead on The National, stories of trauma and resilience, what Joanna Remiliotis found when she met survivors of the deadly Toronto van attack.
I'm gonna try my best to double enjoy my life and live harder for Sohi and myself, for both of us.
Just over 4 months ago, a devastating scene in Toronto. A man in a rented white van deliberately running down pedestrians along bustling Yonge Street, killing 10 people, wounding 16 others. The alleged driver, Alec Manassian, is expected to make a court appearance later this week. The community rallied together in the weeks following the attack, working to bring back a sense of normalcy to the neighborhood. But for the survivors, a different story. As Joanna Remiliotis tells us, they're still trying to deal with the physical and psychological scars left behind.
Take your time, go slowly.
This is what survival looks like.
You're getting there, almost there.
Beverly Smith is 81, and she's learning to crawl.
Nice job.
I'm too old to get prosthetics, and they're too cumbersome.
Big long rest. Good work.
Too heavy. It wouldn't be worth it. So this is the way it's going to be.
Beverly lost both her legs in the Toronto van attack. She remembers nothing of that horrific moment in time. Now, life is all about getting through the day.
You did it.
So hard. No.
And that's why rehab is hard, because they get you to do the hard things.
Yeah.
And it's challenging. It's very challenging. But you push through every time.
Yep.
It was the first warm day of spring. A retired librarian and avid reader, Beverly was on her way to the public library near her condo when the van struck her and hurtled on. It had already left a trail of broken bodies and a trail of intersecting lives. Heading to the same library, University of Toronto students Sora and her best friend Sohee. It was so nice out, they had decided to walk the 3 blocks from the apartment they shared.
There was blood everywhere on my body, and I felt like severe pain around my face area. And then I was looking around to figure out, and then I saw Sohee lying on the ground beside me. Her clothes and her face, everything seemed so fine, but she was just unconscious, so I thought she didn't. It's like, I thought it's just taking a bit of more time for her to wake up, but I didn't know, something happened to her.
Someone captured this shocking image of Sora moments after she was hit. She shared it with us, along with these hospital photos. Every bone in her face was broken. It would be days before she found out her friend Sohee had died at the scene. And how was that when you found out? It's okay, take your time.
My friends and my parents, they were so worried about my physical condition and my psychological condition, so they hesitated for pretty a long time to decide whether they should talk to me about it or not. But then they came up with the decision to tell me the truth. As soon as I heard that bad news, I started crying, and it just everything bursted out, because I had a thought of Sohee, something happening to Sohee, but I tried to stop myself, and I tried my best to not give up on her or lose my hopes.
Yeah, here, get them, and then you're kind of on your own. It might just work out. You could just stay with us. And then
Michael Smith and his sister Allison tried to hold on to their hopes for their mother too, telling themselves, what are the chances? Looking back, it seems so hollow a reassurance.
So I just picked up the phone and he said, have you seen what's been going on TV? And I'm like, no. So he explained the whole situation, and I just said, okay, well, what are the chances, as I always say, what are the chances? I mean, I know it's outside our building, but there's hundreds of thousands of people in Toronto walking around, come on.
But they couldn't get through to their mom. The cold answer arrived when officers showed up at Michael's door to take him to the hospital.
She was so beaten up, her eyes were completely closed. And then they told me that her legs had been amputated, and I just started screaming. It was horrible, horrible.
It would be weeks before Beverly could process, could believe what happened.
I'll tell you what I did. I decided that it didn't really happen to me. And that's how I cope. It's not really happening to me. But I'm getting better. I know what's happened to me, and I know I have to deal with it. But I've got a lot to Even though I'm almost 82, I still got time to live and enjoy life. So I'm good.
We were really, really close, like best friends. We met in the first year of university and started living together as roommates from second year. And yeah, we've been roommates since then.
Sora still speaks of her best friend in the present tense and still chases away the guilt.
If I tried to wake her up or shook her, then would she have survived? Like, yeah. I thought I was like accepting it pretty well in the beginning, but these days I think it's harder for me to actually think and accept the fact that she's actually gone forever.
Disbelief is a lingering companion. So are the panic attacks. Other than her doctor's appointments, Sora rarely goes out.
So she had a fracture of her cheekbone. These are called the nasoorbital ethmoid bones. Her upper jaw was broken off. Her lower jaw was broken. Lots of fractures. Cheekbone looks good.
And there are invisible reminders too.
Back to your symmetrical self. And when I touch you here, does it feel the same on both?
Sora had to undergo 7 hours of surgery to reconstruct her face.
Good. So the main thing, it feels like it's the stiffness in your jaw movement. That's the problem now, right?
I still have more than like 10 metal plates in my face right now, and I have to keep them forever.
When you look in the mirror now, do you...
I don't see any difference. Like they've done a so great job. So
it's hard to believe your entire face was fractured.
If I don't talk about it first, no one knows. No one can notice about the big surgery. And I only got this scar left from the surgery, but all the other sutures were from the inside, so no scars.
For Beverly,
do you remember? What did you get from that?
recovery is complicated too.
Just the people that took her in that I know of.
Her memory, her comprehension are not the same since the attack.
I really love that you're starting to underline.
Oh.
It's a really great strategy.
She used to devour books. Now she needs therapy to follow a simple plot line.
Which did you find easier?
His.
Following the story or just the characters?
His with the characters.
His with the characters.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's getting there, but sometimes she seems to go back.
Last week she asked me if she would ever wear boots again, and this is 5 months later, and she's still confused about that sort of thing, and it's heartbreaking to have to answer a lot of the questions.
The confusing, unclear reality too. What next? Beverly is leaving this rehab facility soon. She can't live alone. Both Michael and Allison need to renovate their homes to accommodate her. But everything, from a ramp to an accessible vehicle, is costly, and battles with the insurance company are exhausting.
There's this fund for people like me, a catastrophic fund or whatever. There's all this money, but they're telling me how to spend it and what I can have and what I can't have. And they're all basic things. It's not a trip to Hawaii or a castle. This is to make my life livable and normal.
So you're nervous about starting school again without her? Mm-hmm. But nothing is normal. Sora is back at school, but without her best friend.
Thinking of going back to school.
And that loss is like a shard. It can't be removed. She can only live around it. Did you think at all about the person who did this?
To be honest, I try not to think about him because I don't have any power or like I can do. There's nothing that I can do in this situation, and so it's just like endless negative loop. So I try to not think about him.
What do you hope for yourself?
I'm hoping to become my usual myself as before, and I'm gonna try my best to double enjoy my life and live harder for Sohee and myself, for both of us.
First aid training, cell phone, and,
Beverly also refuses to think of the man who drove into her, who destroyed the life she knew. She tries to picture her future instead.
When you imagine your life moving forward, what do you see?
When I see my life moving forward, I picture it through my children. Them growing, the children growing, and all their accomplishments, and just growing up. It's my family.
Beverly Smith will get to spend her first night out of the hospital this week. Her family expects her to be released Thursday. While they're excited to have her home, they're also a little anxious about the new challenges ahead.
And speaking of new beginnings, the Humboldt Broncos play their season opener later this week. It'll be their first home game since that horrific bus crash last April. But one of their teammates injured in the crash, Ryan Streshnitsky, has already found his own way of getting back onto the ice. Streshnitsky played sledge hockey for the first time in July. It was another moment of discovery in a summer packed with different physiotherapy sessions, both here and south of the border. Susan Ormiston has been following his journey to recovery and will tell us more about it tomorrow night on The National.
The Shriners Hospital in Philadelphia becomes Ryan's new training camp.
Pool time.
Including a first session in the pool. But that sense of weightlessness feels like freedom.
Hey, Marin's going under this time, buddy.
Even if he's afraid he'll sink.
How'd you feel?
We will let the ICC die on its own. After all, for all intents and purposes, the ICC is already dead to us.
Tonight on The National, a scathing rebuke of the International Criminal Court from Donald Trump's national security advisor, John Bolton. The American position on the ICC has tended to be pretty adversarial. It's one of the few countries that isn't a member. But Bolton went a step further, threatening to hit its judges with sanctions, even freezing their assets if they go ahead with an investigation into alleged U.S. war crimes in Afghanistan.
Я видел ваши многочисленные тревожные комментарии, поэтому решил записать видео.
Also tonight, reassuring words coming from the International Space Station after the discovery of a small hole on board caused big concern back here on Earth. In a video posted online, a Russian astronaut showed off the patched up hole and said everyone is okay and all is calm on board. But the story doesn't end there. Russia's space agency is investigating, hoping to rule out the possibility raised last week that this could have been an act of sabotage.
Not happy. Sad.
I don't like it. I think he's been good for Montreal.
And just some of the reaction from Montreal Canadiens fans to news that captain Max Pacioretty has been traded. The Habs confirmed today that after more than a decade with the team, he's off to the Vegas Golden Knights. In his place, Montreal gets a 2019 second-round pick and 2 forwards, including prospect Nick Suzuki. Well, many are calling it an invasion of privacy, harassment even. A new Unifor ad publicly shames replacement workers in Newfoundland. After 630 days, the plight of 32 locked-out union workers in Gander wasn't getting much attention. That all changed last week with the release of that video, naming and shaming workers who crossed the picket line. But did the union cross a line too? Chris O'Neill Yates takes a closer look.
After more than 21 months on this picket line at DJ Composites in Gander, little has changed except the seasons. That was until Unifor released this video.
My first reaction was instant fear.
Ada Mae Rogers says the union has crossed a line.
They're bullying us, they're harassing us. They're making sure that all of Canada knows that this is our name and this is the face that goes with that name.
Della Glover applauds her union for publicly outing replacement workers.
Do I have pity for them? No, because right now they knew what they were getting involved with when they took the job on the inside.
However, reaction to the video online has been largely negative. Wow, feel ashamed, Unifor. Pretty disgusting approach here, folks. Unifor is making no apologies. It says U.S.-based DJ Composites has been upping the number of replacement workers during the lockout.
They are being used by the employer and allowing themselves to prolong this dispute.
Unifor's Lana Payne says the Labor Relations Board has twice found the company to be bargaining in bad faith.
It's our responsibility as their bargaining agent and their union to respond to these increased tactics by the employer to bust the union in Gander.
You're locked out.
Tom Cooper teaches business ethics at Memorial University.
It felt like almost stalking when I looked at the ad, and that's why, for me, kind of from an ethical standpoint, I get a bit concerned.
Cooper questions what the video will ultimately accomplish.
Is this going to make the American owner move any closer to providing a resolution? I'm not too sure it does. I think what it does is it actually targets these workers, scab workers, and puts their potential rights and potential safety in some ways at threat.
The video has achieved one thing, says Cooper.
We're talking about it on TV, we're talking about it on radio. We're seeing once again the pain and the suffering that those locked out workers are going through.
But as a third winter on the picket line looms for workers, still no thaw in this lockout, at least not yet. Chris O'Neill Yates, CBC News, St. John's.
Now, emotions certainly run high in these sorts of long, bitter labor disputes. And to give you more of a sense of how things can escalate, take a look at this. The imagery, for one, can be pretty extreme. Replacement workers portrayed as vermin, the lowest of the low, and the language can be brutally graphic. Consider how the Airline Pilots Association in the U.S. once put it, as it posted a list of strike-breaking flight crews having fangs that drip with your blood, willingly destroying families, lives, and careers at the drop of a hat.
Still ahead on The National, on World Suicide Prevention Day, a moment of pause and reflection is our moment of the day.
Every day is a gift and a curse. One day, I may be able to smile on my own again. But in the meantime, I know that tomorrow needs me, and so I stay.
Well, it's a startling number. An average of 10 people die by suicide every day in this country. And for years, people have struggled in silence. Many still do. But a new campaign is trying to change that. To mark World Suicide Prevention Day, it's asking people to finish the sentence, "Tomorrow needs me because," and then share it online. The response is our moment of the day.
You are loved, you are needed, you are cherished. Tomorrow needs you. This is important to me because I've been down that hole and I made it out. I made it out and you can too. Please keep fighting.
Every day is a gift and a curse. One day, I may be able to smile on my own again. But in the meantime, I know that tomorrow needs me. And so I stay, to make tomorrow a better day. That was my Tomorrow Needs You message that I posted on Twitter. It means a lot to me because I'm currently going through some very emotional times, and mental health care has helped me a lot.
This world needs what you have. We need you because you're something to be proud of. Tomorrow needs you.
You know, Andrew, there's so much that's important about this message, but let me start with, to me, one of the most striking things. I remember the first radio station I worked at a long time ago, more than 30 years ago, and learning that there was this unwritten rule that basically all the media agreed to, that we would not talk about suicide, that the feeling was suicide would lead to, talking about it would lead to some people committing suicide. I think it's good, well, I know it's good that we're actually talking about this.
Well, and I think, you know, there's the expression every conversation has to start somewhere, and people can say what they want to about social media advocacy and activism. I'll tell you this, I spent a little bit of time today just searching the Tomorrow Needs You hashtag, and it offered some insight into two things. One, how much hurt there is out there, but also, two, how many people feel that they've managed to overcome it and want to take a moment to help other people do the same. So, look, it's striking.
This is not a bleak message. It's supposed to be a message that there is a reason to live for tomorrow, and there's certainly lots of help for people out there. So a good way, I think, to end tonight's show. That is The National for September the 10th. Good night.
Good night.